Welcome back to the Lakeview Car Channel. Today we're going to be overhauling the 240SX fuel system. So today we're going to be overhauling the fuel system on my 240SX. That's probably the biggest reason, well, it's really the only reason that it burned down in the first place. So let's do it right this time. Just real quick, this is my fuel rail. And my biggest mistake last time was mounting this fuel pressure regulator. I had it way off on the side with a bunch of, there was an elbow and a bunch of adapter fittings, and essentially made a big lever so that this got pushed down and this bent all the brackets up because it had this big lever arm out here. This time we're gonna mount it directly to the end, just like it does on the radium fuel rails, but I've got a couple things to hopefully do that the right way. So, since the brackets were bent, I went and contacted the maker of this fuel rail, and he sent me some new brackets. I needed some new O-rings for my injectors, so he sent those too. We got ourselves a nice new fuel pressure gauge that'll go right here. We got about 10 foot of fuel pressure or fuel injection hose. It's very important you get fuel injection hose, not just normal fuel line. I've got a few AN fittings and NPT fittings and stuff like that. Got a trick little radium banjo fitting, so that should be nice. These are the old injectors. As you can tell, they're a little crusty. That's okay, because we've got brand new injectors. There you go. And brand new plugs for them. So, let's go ahead and start putting all this stuff together. All right, guys, first thing I'm gonna do is put my fuel pressure gauge in my rail. So let's come over to the vise. I'm not going to use any thread sealer right now because I don't have any, but just to show you and so I can get an idea of how it'll work in the car, I'm going to install this without any sealer, but just know I'll come back and put some fuel safe thread sealer in this. And since this is a tapered thread, it's an NPT, I'm going to get it pretty snug, and then I'm just going to line it up where I need it and then not touch it. It's pretty easy to strip out pipe threads in aluminum, especially if you're trying to go till it's tight. It never really bottoms out, so you just kind of get it snug, and the taper of the threads is what does all the sealing. All right, so I was about to put my fuel pressure regulator on the end of my rail. I need to get a 9/16 by 18 tap for this, actually. Originally it's tapped out to 1/4 inch NPT, which if you don't know is it's the same size and thread pitch, but it's tapered, and I need to drill it out and just run a 9/16 18 tap through it so that the -6 ORB fitting, not this one specifically, but the same size, will fit right in there. Regulator goes on the end, and then I want this fitting for 90 degrees. So I can run my fuel lines. So I know this looks a little crazy, but I have to modify this brand new radium fuel pressure regulator. This little boss that this small threaded hole is in, this piece that sticks out too far for the 90 degree fitting I want to use. So I'm just gonna take an angle grinder and very carefully remove a little material that way so the fitting will work. We got our banjo fitting into the side of the regulator. I capped the other side. Now I just need to put in the radium proprietary fitting right here and this little bracket that holds it down. Make sure we don't have any more clearance problems, and then we can start mocking up our fuel lines and stuff. All right, so we got our fitting in. We clearanced the bracket. Everything fits pretty nice. The whole reason I'm doing this is for one of these fittings, and that'll work just fine. So let's go test this on the car, kind of with the rail, and see if we can run some fuel lines. All right, guys, we're over at the car. We're just gonna test fit this so we can run some fuel lines so that we don't have to do it later. As you can see, it's still quite dirty. We're not gonna run it like this. I just wanted to start test fitting things. These are the old brackets that got bent. You can tell they're not kosher. So that's what caused the fire last time, because of my silly adapters that I put on there. I'm just gonna snug everything for now. It doesn't need to be crazy tight for just running fuel lines. We kind of changed how we're gonna route the fittings and stuff, but we can go over that later. I'm gonna start trying to do fuel lines. All right, everybody, we finally, after many problems, finally got the fuel rail to work. So this end is how I got it. That end, I had to tap it out to 9/16 18 because the fitting for that regulator is -6, and that's the thread size for -6. So it's really close to quarter NPT, but it's not quite the same. So I had to just remount the hole a little bit and then re-tap it with that. And I put a little chamfer on the end for the O-ring to seat, so that works good now. The fuel lines are ran. I drilled the hole on the wrong side of the rail for that regulator. So actually on the back here, there's another port for one of those gauges. We'll just cap it off. All right, guys, so we got the fuel rail all cleaned out. We've got the injectors in there. Just gonna try and tighten it down, make sure everything lines up how it should. And if that happens, then we'll probably pop it back off and put all the fittings and everything on it, run the lines, and check it for leaks. We'll probably try and power up the fuel pump and make sure we don't have any crazy fuel leaks, because that is, after all, how we got here. All right, so we got all of our we got all the fittings tightened down, we got all the hoses ran, all the hose clamps are on. Everything's got a little thread sealant on it, well, the parts that need it. It's bolted down. We're gonna try and run power to the fuel pump real quick and see if we see any leaks. All right, so we found the wires. Go ahead and touch them real quick. Put your finger down.
I don't want to get shot.
You're not gonna hurt yourself.
Ah! You said I wasn't gonna get shocked.
Okay, hold on.
Keep up.
All right, he's got it now. So I'm gonna come up here and look for fuel leaks. I think I already smell some, to be honest with you. So, oh, yeah, hold on a second. There's still some pressure on the gauge. I don't see no leaks. Go ahead and hold it, why don't you? Stop. That wasn't good. Well, I heard sound. Did you not hear that?
I heard it.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? That's concerning. Well, try it again, I guess. That doesn't sound good. We're gonna look into this. So, we're pretty sure that the sound at the front is just the empty fuel lines and fuel rail filling up. But then we smelled some gas and we looked under the car and there's a big
Puddle of gas.
So now it reeks of gas down here.
I know.
And we're gonna try and soak it up a little bit and get rid of those rags. All right, guys. So that pretty much wraps up the fuel system video. So we're gonna dig into it real quick and see just why it was leaking so bad. I have a suspicion that there's a bad hose on top of the fuel sender, so we'll look into that real quick. But yeah, that's pretty much it. After we fix that, we're just gonna double check for leaks. I didn't see any so far. And then next video, we're actually gonna do an oil cooler on this thing. And we had a few things work out for that I was surprised about. So you can check those out in the next video.
It's gonna be pretty sick. So like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and we'll get back to you.